Paradise at Main and Elm. Interior diner, day. Ezra, 20s, nervous, attractive, walks in, covered with snow, clutching a pair of leather gloves. A waitress, 40s, appears from the kitchen door.
I'm closing in a few minutes, but you got time if you want a cup of coffee to warm yourself up.
Ezra sits down at the table near the window. For a moment, he bows his head, eyes closed tight, nose running, skin red.
You all right there?
Fine.
Ezra massages his temple. The waitress brings over a glass of water.
Could I possibly get a hot chocolate?
If you can make do with coffee, I'll throw in a slice of pie for free. I don't want to miss the bus home.
Ezra winces on the word bus.
That okay?
Ezra nods. The waitress starts for the kitchen. A clock above the door chimes. Ezra looks up. 10:45. He glances around at the oversized wooden booths, Art Deco lights and door, antique cash register. The waitress returns. She sets down the pie and a cup of coffee. Ezra breathes in the aroma of the coffee.
It does neither of us any good for you to feel uncomfortable here. What you tell me is between us. I'm not judging. I'm not prodding. I'm just listening. You have to remember that. We can spend as much time as it takes for you to feel safe and accepted in this room.
Ezra takes a bite of the pie. He closes his eyes as he chews.
I know there's something you'd like to talk about. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. Take as much time as you need and tell me as little or as much as you want. The hardest part is beginning a story. Once we're over that hurdle, I think you'll find everything else as easy as pie.
Ezra takes another bite of pie.
You might even want to write it down. Just a simple sentence. I was in the basement.
Ezra shakes his head. His fork drops.
You doing all right?
Ezra nods. The waitress walks into the kitchen. Ezra looks out the window. A tall man, 30s, and a short man, 30s, argue, while a woman, 30s, repeatedly steps between them, attempting to force them away from one another. The tall man grabs the woman's arm and pulls her out of the way, and then lunges toward the short man. They scuffle. The woman hurries to the diner door and enters. Ezra stiffens. He starts to say something, but stops. The woman looks around frantically. Ezra holds up the gloves.
You left these on the bus.
The woman ignores Ezra and walks behind the counter. The waitress comes out from the kitchen.
Can I help you with something?
The woman turns and looks out the window.
Oh, God.
The woman races back outside.
Is she okay?
Ezra stares out the window. The woman runs back to the two men who are now locked together, pushing and pulling at each other as they shuffle and slide on and off the sidewalk into the street. The tall man throws a punch, sending his rival into the pavement. He then clutches the woman's arm. He grabs hold of the woman's hair, clenches it tightly in his fist, and slams her face into the roof of a large black sedan. The car alarm sounds. The waitress screams. Ezra stands, bumping into the table, hot coffee drenching his leg.
Do something! Get out there and do something!
The waitress hurries over to a phone on the wall. Ezra stares out the window at blood trickling down the car window, turning the snow a deep red.
So Ezra, this friend of yours, this cleaning woman at your school, you made a pact. You promised each other that before situations in either of your lives got out of control, you'd help each other. But something went terribly wrong, didn't it? Ezra? Ezra?
Come on! Give me a dial tone, damn it!
Ezra stands paralyzed. Blood drips from his nose.
Get out there and help her!
Ezra moves closer to the window. We see his reflection as the man in gray silences the car alarm and opens the passenger side door. Then tall man takes the woman by the shoulders and shoves her in, slamming her back against the seat. He kicks the door shut. The wind gusts and snow swirls. The tall man stomps towards the driver's side and pounds his fist on the trunk.
I can't believe you! Don't you move until the cops get here!
Ezra turns and stares at the waitress. His body trembles, more blood drips from his nose.
What were you feeling at that moment? Did you want to lash out at him? Or to somehow save her? But that, too, didn't feel right. You were torn, weren't you?
Ezra drops to his knees.
I mean, here are the two adults in the world you love the most. And on top of it all, the only other person you could run to for empathy, consolation, protection. Your janitor friend, left with no work.
Ezra lays on his side in fetal position.
Don't focus on anything at all. If a thought comes to your mind, push it out.
Blood. So much of it.
Is your head clear? Have you forgotten everything you were thinking about a few minutes ago?
Her beautiful hair stuck between his fingers.
Perfect. Just relax and think of nothing.
Ezra closes his eyes. He rocks back and forth. Sirens sound in the distance. Ezra clutches the gloves tightly.
I didn't see anything. I already told the police I didn't see anything.
But then to see it all happen again, first in your basement, then to your friend, your janitor friend, who...
Her name is Leslie!
Ezra gently runs his fingers over the gloves.
Just tell the police I won't talk to them.
Ezra's breathing slows.
I won't tell them a thing.
Ezra opens his eyes. Exterior, lawn, day. Ezra's on a patch of grass surrounded by college students. Ezra wears only a pair of underwear. Bunched up beside him are khakis and a Buffalo Bills jersey and a pair of beat-up shoes on their sides. Ezra closes his eyes again.
Not a thing.
Interior, classroom, day. On the whiteboard, critiques today. Adrian, Stockwell, Tammy Kirks. Adrian, 20s, tense, attractive, enters the empty classroom and takes his usual seat. Students trickle in. Adrian repeatedly glances at one seat in particular. Mike, 20s, arrogant, hunky, enters and takes a seat directly opposite Adrian. Professor Hartwicke, 50s, enters. Adrian stares once more at the empty seat. He's crushed it remains empty.
Let's start then with Mr. Stockwell's story, the intriguingly entitled 613.
A female student, 18, raises her hand.
The settings are really real, like richly described.
A male student, 18, raises his hand.
And the dialogue is really natural, like the way real people speak. Or talk, whatever.
Mike does not raise his hand.
The battle scenes felt totally fake.
Adrian locks eyes with Mike.
The kind of battle scenes you're writing about, I mean, dude, there's no way you could ever write about that kind of fear unless you lived through
The
it.
female student raises her hand.
I think it reads true. I mean, like, no one knows what it's like in deep, deep space, but that doesn't stop people from believing scenes in, like, Alien.
Don't reference film, reference literary work.
Just no way. Maybe if you actually talked to a soldier, you'd know. I wasn't convinced by hardly anything in your story, and I sure wouldn't buy that the woman wouldn't accept the dude because of his handicap.
That was foreshadowed.
All right, all right.
There's a difference between what you want a character to do and what actually happens. That's like saying The Great Gatsby is crap because Daisy and Jay didn't skip off into the sunset.
The Great Gatsby is crap for other reasons.
You're such an idiot. You turn in shit that makes...
Adrian!
Adrian stands up and grabs his book bag.
I'm so sick of this clueless class.
Adrian storms out of the room.